Hey everybody, welcome back to another 10-minute Marvel video. I am Petter, and today I'm talking about the Ironheart trailer. It finally dropped, and we have some more information on the show, also when it's coming out. So it is coming out June 24th, dropping the first 3 episodes all at once. Now, that seems different for Marvel. It is. They've done 2-episode drop before. Never a 3, and this is half the show that's dropping at once. Now, is that necessarily a concern for the show? I don't think so. But I want to talk more about the trailer because that's going to really be the element that tells you more about the show and if it's going to be maybe a show for you or not. What we see in this trailer feels to me a little bit scattered. Now, I'm trying to put this in the right terms because I don't think it's a bad trailer. I actually think that the Riri Williams, Dominic Thorne's acting in this is really solid from what the trailer looks like. My bigger concern about this show actually has to do with what we've seen of Anthony Ramos's Hood. And now, I think there's a reason for that, though. They don't really want to give away too much of who the Hood is, what the Hood is connected to, in things like that. But we do get some idea of the plot and of kind of what Riri is up to and her thought process on everything. I think after the events of Wakanda Forever, her internship abroad, that she looked at what Wakanda had and what they gave her to create her Ironheart suit there and was like, well, that's just a company's suit. That's the nation of Wakanda's suit, and they took it back from me. I want to create something that is my own, that stands apart on my own. Now, of course, she doesn't have the resources for that. She's a genius, but stuff that geniuses do and build costs a lot of money because she knows how to make something great. And so she has to find a way to get some funds. And that's where the Hood comes in. The Hood, in the comics, leads criminal organization. And definitely seems to be the case here as well. So I like that element about it. But now she has to balance that I'm doing illegal things, or aiding in illegal things, versus I'm trying to do the right thing. Like, can I use what I'm getting to really be iconic, to stand out in the crowd, or am I going to go down the path of a villain? I think that's going to be kind of the struggle for her character in this, is how do you balance that, and how, I would say, is her pride going to cause her issues? Because I think it is. I think if the show is done well, it's going to come up with the fact that, yeah, she is proud of what she's done and what she can accomplish, and she thinks that the ends, her getting the money to buy her technology to be able to create an awesome suit, to be able to help people, is going to justify the means. And that is where generally you get that character who needs to have that fall, to have that humbling experience to be able to rise back up from it. Now, this is similar to like a Iron Man in some ways. Now, Iron Man, though, I don't think ever really fully gets humbled, at least not until like the end of the, well, until Infinity War, really, where he is left just him and Nebula. So I think that this is going to condense some of that storytelling element to it. And I don't think she's going to end up, much like Tony Stark, I don't think she's necessarily going to end up being fully humbled at the end of this and appreciative of what she has. Fully. She's still going to believe that she's smart and awesome. It's just now she is going to have to be more careful about it. And I think that's where they can branch from what people are going to do, which is going to be constantly compared to, like, well, Tony Stark already did that. Tony Stark already did that. This is just another Iron Man. This is just an Iron Man ripoff. And so I'm hopeful for the show in that direction. But I did mention that I didn't love what I saw with the Hood. And I didn't love what I saw with the Hood just because I felt like we didn't really get to see that character. The character feels a bit more like a caricature at this point. Comic booky, actually not even really comic booky in a not so good way. It just feels like a kind of boring bad guy at this point. A boring bad guy who feels like they've hit the jackpot, potentially getting Riri to help them, that they're in control of everything, and then yeah, it's not an exciting character from this trailer. Now, I really do want to emphasize, though, from this trailer, because we get that tiny hint at some of what the Hood can potentially do. I think we're going to get a whole lot more of that. I think we're going to get depth and backstory to that character. It's just that, like, the rumored depth and backstory might be that it is Mephisto, played by Sacha Baron Cohen. If that's the case, that's not a reveal you want to have in the trailer. So, obviously, it's who knows. That may not be the case. But even if that isn't the case, however he gets his powers and kind of what he's doing haven't been fully revealed and fully fleshed out. And it's obvious in the trailer, but it is cut in such a way that it's also disappointing within the trailer, I think, is the big element for it. And that's a little bit of a shame to me. I was excited for that character. The look also is just fine for that character. I suspect, again, we're going to see kind of the look and feel evolve of the character as we understand where the character's coming from and how the character is manipulating the scene. But the most important part to me is I feel like I got that good understanding of Riri Williams from this trailer. And the best Marvel shows are the ones where you have that protagonist and it's about their journey and character arc, and the villain is less important. Now, Marvel's been historically inconsistent with this. There are some shows where it is great, and some shows where they nail some of that character work, but then really undercut it with the villain. And the example of that would be Miss Marvel, with the Noor Dimension and the Jinn characters just don't feel impactful and interesting. And I'm hopeful for this show that they didn't repeat that flaw. Because I love Miss Marvel's show. It's just that I love, in particular, the parts where it's really focused on Kamala and her journey as a character, and the bad guy element in some ways just doesn't fit. So I'm hoping that Marvel learned from this and with Ironheart, and maybe has worked on the editing, worked on the pacing, worked on the handling of the villain to make sure that if you have a villain, it is an emotionally impactful villain for it. And obviously, this is just all speculation on my behalf. I'm just saying I want to talk about where Marvel has had the weaknesses with the shows before. Thankfully for this show, I don't believe there's been any storylines or anything cut out of it like we had in Falcon and the Winter Soldier or Secret Invasion, which makes me a little bit more hopeful for this show giving something cohesive. It is weird, I think, that we're 40 days away. Is that even right? 24 days, and it's the 14th of... Yeah, so we're... My brain can't do that math that fast. Wow. Yeah, about 40 days away from the show airing, and this is the first real trailer we've gotten for it. They've showed stuff before. I think there's interesting elements for it that they've teased before. I'm just excited to actually have this one out now. And, well, I'm not maybe as gung-ho excited as some of the other trailers that Marvel has put out for things. This has been a show that I've been waiting for quite a while, so I'm excited to see what Marvel can do with it. Let me know your thoughts on the trailer down in the comment section below. If you're questioning, should I post this? Comment. Just remember, we love open discussion and dialogue around these trailers and things like that. If you're thinking about posting something and it's just closed off with no opportunity for a conversation to grow from it, skip that one. Figure out a way to rework it and drop that comment down below. If you enjoyed this content, please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell as well to know when new videos come out. And check out our full conversation that we'll have on this trailer on the 10-Minute Marvel podcast coming out this upcoming Sunday. You can find the podcast here on YouTube. Click onto the channel and then the podcast tab, or search for 10-Minute Marvel wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcast from. But with that, I'll see you next time.